Hi there, this is GCSE Physics. This is Atomic Structure Lesson 5. The title is Radioactivity, Alpha, Beta and Gamma. The objectives are to describe the properties of different types of radiation and to describe the penetrating power of different types of radiation. Remember, at any point, if you need to pause to make any notes, please do. Okay, let's move on. So, radioactivity. Henri Becquerel, French citizen, discovered radioactivity in 1896. So the atoms of some substances are unstable and they give out radiation from their nuclei all the time, whatever is done to them. That should be an M. Well done for spotting that, if you spotted it. Be it temperature change, pressure change, these substances are said to be radioactive. So basically you could have a material that's radioactive and it doesn't matter, if you change the pressure conditions, if you increase or decrease its temperature, whatever you do to it, it will still be radioactive and nothing will happen to its decay rate, the amount of radiation that it actually gives off. So there's three types of radiation: alpha particles, beta particles, and gamma rays. Okay, let's move on. So what is radioactivity? So some atomic nuclei are unstable. The nucleus of that nuclei gives out radiation as it changes to become more stable. It's a random process and it's called radioactive decay. So when an atom gives off radiation, it's trying to become more stable so it doesn't change. So activity is the rate at which a source of unstable nuclei decays. It is known as the counts of radiation per second. And the activity is measured in becquerel. So 1 BQ means 1 count per second, or 10 BQ would mean 10 counts of radiation per second. On the right hand side here, you've got some movie and then below just an image and a score. They're Geiger counters. So what they do is measure the amount of radiation, and it works in clicks. So you get like random, click, 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 depending on how much radiation there is. So the more radiation, the more clicks, and each click would indicate one piece of radiation detected. Let's move on to the different types of radiation. So alpha, beta, and gamma. So alpha particle is the same as a helium nucleus. So that would be 2 protons and 2 neutrons. We talked about this in the Rutherford scattering experiment. A beta particle would be a high-speed electron. It's come from the nucleus where a neutron has decayed into a electron and a proton. An electron is ejected at very high speed from the nucleus itself. And gamma rays are very high frequency electromagnetic waves, and they're produced when an unstable nucleus loses energy, usually after a decay has occurred, either by alpha or beta decay. So if you want to get that information down, then we'll go into a bit more detail. The next thing you need to know is the penetrating power of alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. So paper, or a few centimeters of air, stops alpha particles. Alpha is highly ionizing. Okay, it's 10,000 times more ionizing than gamma. What that means is basically its radioactive power, so to speak, or its ability, more technically, its ability to produce ions. And an ion, remember, is where you strip an atom of its electrons and it will become a positive ion. So next, if you've got 1 centimeter or 1 meter of air, 1 centimeter of aluminium or 1 meter of air. Sorry, that's not written properly. 1 centimeter of aluminium or 1 meter of air is enough to stop beta particles. Beta particles, which is the high-speed electron, they have moderate ionizing power, and it's approximately 1,000 times more ionizing than gamma. And lastly, you need several centimeters of lead, or 1 meter of concrete is needed to stop gamma rays. And gamma has a low ionizing power. What we do, the relative thing of the 1,000 times and the 1,000 times, we call gamma like 1 times, and then beta is 1,000 times more ionizing, and then alpha is 10,000 times more ionizing than gamma. Okay, let's move on. So if you want to have a go at this consolidation exercise, the keywords are at the bottom. You can either write the entire thing out to get some notes, or you can pause and just write 1 to 8, put the keywords in the correct place. Okay, I'm going to go for the answers. So atoms consist of a very small nucleus containing protons and neutrons surrounded by electrons. atoms of the same element will always have the same number of protons, but different isotopes of the same element will have different numbers of neutrons. The atoms of some substances are unstable and radioactive. They may give off alpha or beta particles or gamma rays. Gamma rays are the most penetrating type of radiation. Alpha is the least. So quite an informative lesson. Quite a lot of new content to take down. Hopefully it went okay. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.